says we appreciate Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. There's no debate. There's no debate about Kwame Nkrumah's frontline role in the process to secure independence for this country. And of course, he was our first president, first independence leader, and many of our national institutions came into being in his time when he was president. So there's absolutely no debate about Kwame Nkrumah's prominent role or preeminent role in Ghana attaining independence. And so we are happy that national holiday has been instituted in his honor, that a national holiday on his birthday has been made a national holiday. And we are happy about it. But we have reservations about the day being called Founders Day, as in singular. We have severe reservations about that. We believe that the road to independence had many other prominent citizens taking part. Kwame Nkrumah himself was brought down by a political party, the UGCs. They brought him, he was in England. If they hadn't brought him down, he probably would have played no role whatsoever in the independence struggle. He was in England, pursuing his own interests. He was interested in politics, obviously. So somebody recommended that he be brought down. So he was brought down by the UGCs and was employed as the General Secretary of the party. So obviously there were people who were also engaged in the struggle for independence, and they introduced Kwame Nkrumah into that struggle. There's no debate about it. Now, we won independence not through some liberation war. We won it through elections. Okay? We won it through elections. It's not like Kwame, we were in a liberation war against the British and Kwame Nkrumah was the general. It was 1951, there were elections in 1954, there were elections in 1956. And Nkrumah won those elections. So there were a lot of people who took part in the Legislative Assembly before independence. There were members, other political leaders in that Legislative Assembly who were all looking for independence. So we believe that Kwame Nkrumah played a preeminent role because he won the elections and he was the independence leader at the time of independence. But he to put the whole founder on his head, we believe is just a political interpretation which will not stand the test of time. Because really, Ghana really, you had independence leaders. Even the title founder, some people may have a problem with it. Because the territory Ghana was inherited from the British people. We haven't added any single territory. It was inherited. It was British people who put it together. And then when we had independence, we got that territory that the British had put together as one colony. We got it as one. So I think independence. So, really, but if you are going to equate the independence struggle to founding, then there are quite a few other people who should be recognized. Now, there has to be a consensus on our heroes. As we speak, there's no consensus. The NDC is in power, and they have decided that Kwame Nkrumah should be the sole founder. So they've brought some law, and then they've made his birthday founders. But there's no consensus. And when you have the two dominant political parties not having a consensus on an issue, you can be sure that when the leadership of the country changes, it will affect the way which we treat our heroes. And I would not be surprised if NPP comes into office and people would seek an amendment to that act of of Parliament. So it's unfortunate that this has turned into political football. It should not. We should come to a consensus as to who will treat us as heroes and how we will treat them. There's no doubt that Nkrumah will be preeminent because he was the leader at independence. But other people too played a key role in the fight for independence, and they should not be left out. They are also founders. So founding fathers would be much more acceptable than this founder business for Akomea. And also, if you look at our political institutions today, our constitution today is founded on the ideals of other political leaders, not Kwame Nkrumah. They call the Kwame Nkrumah the ideas, the one-party states, and all of that. The president able to cancel laws of parliament and all those things, they've all been thrown away. Now what is dominant is multi-party, liberal democracy, freedom of speech, freedom of media, rule of law. Those are the dominant things, and those were not Kwame Nkrumah's ideas. So today, what has endured in Ghana are the ideas of the other leaders. So what do you say about that? When we brought the idea of it, we said that poverty in the north was of such a nature that there has to be some special efforts to reduce poverty in the north. And so we were going to set up a special fund, extra funds to tackle poverty in the north. And so we were going to set up a Northern Development Fund. This was 2008. John Mahama said it was not a useful idea, and that if we can find some money, we should go and pay the debts at the Temawari refinery. You remember? So that was our idea. They said it wasn't a good idea. But yet, when John Mahama came into office, they set up the SADA, which is clearly they've copied that concept of setting up a development fund. Because it was not an original idea, how they use it, they supply millions of dollars in taxpayers' money. Then you also remember the free SHS. In 2012, when we said we were going to implement it, they said, we can't implement it until 20 years have passed. But if Kwame Nkrumah could implement it, somebody else implement it. Jemama said that anything free was not good. That they had tried free SHS in Kenya and other places. It didn't work, it collapsed. And yet, 3 years after he came into power, he says now he also going to do free SHS. Well, clearly it's copyless. Beyond that, this 2016, even though we haven't published our manifesto, many of the things that we have for the people of this country, we've already put them out. Between the flag bearer and the running mates. This industrialization program has been put out. The one district, one factory. The irrigation program for agriculture in the north. The one village, one dam has been put out. The idea of supporting the cashew industry, cashew development, marketing board has been put out. The idea of creating more regions was also put out. You see, all of these ideas, when they were put out, the NDC said they were not good. Then when we said we'll do more regions, they said that the NPP was going to divide the country. The Deputy General Secretary, they said the NPP was going to divide the country by this policy of creating more regions. So now, when we find out that they also have creation of regions, obviously they've copied us. Because if that was also their thinking, their Deputy General Secretary would not have come out to kick against it. He would have said, oh, this is also our policy. We are also going to do the same. When the idea of the cashew development marketing board was mentioned, as the General Secretary himself said, it was a useless idea. Didn't it? You had it. I have it on my phone. I can give it to you so you can quote. He said it was a useless idea. So obviously, if they were also thinking of it, he wouldn't have come out to condemn it. But now, let's do they have it in their manifesto that they will do a cashew development board. You see, quite a few, if you like, let me just see, quite a few of the chances between the two political parties are always right. And when you have elections where the margin of victory is less than 2%, it shows you that the two parties are finely balanced. You know, Mahama had 50.6 the last election, and this NPP had 48%. And so what it means is that Mahama won 0.6. If he had gotten lower, he couldn't have won. That's 0.6, less than 1%. In 2008, they said, even though it was even smaller. So both parties always have a good chance. But this year, we believe that we have a far better chance. All the credible surveys that have been done point to an NPP victory. The CDD survey, that's the Center for Democratic Development, the IEA, Institute of Economic Affairs, the survey that they did also pointed to a clear NPP victory. The Economics Intelligence Unit, the two surveys they have published this year also clearly point to an NPP victory. So all these credible surveys done this year show a clear NPP victory. And also, the situation of the Ghanaians on the ground. Ghanaians are complaining bitterly about the living conditions today, the high cost of living, and the corruption. Everybody's worried about it. So, if you work at graphic, unless you belong to the NDC, so that's your party, so no matter what happens, you belong to the NDC. But for the floating voter here at graphic, the way your incomes have been eroded by the fall in the value of the cedi, and the cedi is falling over 200% in the last 8 years. I don't think your salaries have been increased by 200% in the last 8 years. They will give you 10% a year. 10 times 8 is about 80%. Meanwhile, the money has lost value by over 200%. So you are being squeezed. You know, the money can't take you to the middle of the month. So I'm sure if you are an objective floating voter graphic, you wouldn't vote for the NDC.
How do you see the performance of the media on the elections?
We believe that with the multiplicity of media, it's now pushing all the media to the center. I mean, there was a time when graphic was the newspaper. So, you know, you didn't have much competition. So you could do what you like. Because it was just graphic. But now, there are a lot of private newspapers who are giving you stiff competition. And so, if you are not professional in your work, you lose your customers. Because there are challenges, big challenges. When they review the newspapers, they review one graphic and another 10 or 12 newspapers. There was recent times, it was only graphic, that's all. So the multiplicity of media is pushing everybody.